On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about video for Twitter. And today's episode is made possible by freevideoeditor.co. Are you looking to start editing videos like a pro, but you don't want to pay those pro prices? Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah,
pay those pro prices.
Pay those pro prices.
freevideoeditor.co. We've got a free video editing program that has all sorts of great tools for you to use to make really good videos, and we even give you some extras to have a little bit of fun with on there. So check it out at freevideoeditor.co and leave off the last M for metrics. I only said that because it says metrics right here on the live stream thing there. So, all right, we ready to hit that funky music, white boy?
Hit that funky music, white boy.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
It's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. Our home network is Earn.show. You can catch us on Stitcher and Apple Podcasts. We've got a YouTube channel, so it's easy to get us. We also we record this as a Facebook Live.
We do. And if you're watching us live, feel free to comment to us. Maybe we'll even respond back. Give us a like, give us a love, give us a wow, give us a laugh, give us a cry, give us an angry, whatever makes you happy. You give it to us so that we can see it here. And we'll even show it to you live right on the screen here. I'm still going backwards. I got to remember it's backwards.
I know. I'm such a spaz anyhow that it just throws me off. But anyhow.
That's right.
Yeah. So this should be video for Twitter. This is I got to tell you, my knowledge is of Twitter. I know YouTube inside now. Twitter, I use it for a news feed.
It's starting to get into here. But just as a little announcement for everybody, at the time we're recording this, the Powerball jackpot, $758 million. Steve and I did not win that jackpot. No. However, I consider myself a winner on the Powerball jackpot because I didn't waste any of my money on it. So
that's right. Yeah. I'll spend $2 like 3 times a year. That's about it for me.
I don't even bother. However, I speaking of winning the lottery, forget $758 million for however much money this person spent on lottery tickets for the last 30 years. Did you know? And I saw this morning, and it blew my mind. In 2009, if you had invested $100 in Bitcoin, that would have gotten you about 1 million Bitcoins. I believe $100 would have gotten you 1 million Bitcoins. Had you done that in 2009, you would be worth in the billions right now. It would be worth billions of dollars. And, there was a story of a guy recently, he invested years ago for $27, and I don't know how many Bitcoins he got at that point, but it was, by the time he cashed out, it was worth like $400,000. And had he not cashed out, it would have been worth like $10 million now. So he cashed out when he's like, $200,000. And he, kind of blew it there because it was worth $10 million later. So needless to say, I'm hoping that Bitcoin will see that kind of growth again because I do have some money in it now. But I did not buy in 2009. I bought in 2017. So actually, Steve, believe it or not, my money has actually almost just about quadrupled since the day I put it in.
That's what you said, yeah. And you put in how much money? Like $100?
Yeah, it was nothing. I feel like an idiot now because I only put in, like 100 and change just to test it out because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I not only did I invest it to turn it into Bitcoins, but I put it into one of those investing program things inside of Bitcoin. And now that $100 in about, I don't know, I want to say it's been 6 or 7 weeks maybe, and that $100 is already over $450. So
wow.
And it wasn't 100, it was like 130 or something like that I put in. It was a weird number. But so I guess I should have put in 1,000 or 100,000 or $1 million.
Or $1 million. $1 million. $1 billion.
If I had put $1 million in, I'd be a multimillionaire now. So
Hey, I'd like to do a shout out to my friend Jim Collison, who's a big time podcast producer, does a lot of podcasts for Gallup. and he's the co-host of Ask the Podcast Coach on Saturday
Yes.
morning. And he does one called Home Gadget Geeks, and they regularly do Bitcoin updates and explain blockchains and how to do all this stuff. And I kind of get what they're talking about, So
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't understand it much at all. I haven't taken much time to understand it. I just knew that it was making money.
There you go. There you go.
Sometimes you just have to make that leap of faith. And I guess with only 100 and change, it's not much of a leap of faith. But we made some money.
Hey, what's that echo in your office? What's going on there?
Yes. Well, you may notice just a plain gray background behind me here, and we can show this off. I'm actually getting close. It's getting close to moving time, and you can see here I'm in a very empty room now. No acoustic tiles. No green screen to muffle some of that sound. So it is very, very echoey in here.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
The difference is incredible.
And it's so the green screen and a couple panels are gone, and huge difference.
Yeah, I had, and just so you guys know that these are those foam things that you see in recording studios, and I had the big corner angled blocks in the four corners, and I had patches in the centers of the room and everything on opposite sides of the wall to stop the bouncing of the sound, and it worked very well apparently, because boy, it sounds terrible now.
Could be worse. I mean,
it could be worse. It could be much worse. So I've got
now. I was showing you what I have. Look at this. Let's see if I can do this. This for watching Facebook Live. The egg cartons.
Yes,
it's free. It's free.
Yes.
And then on my table, carpeting. There
you go. Carpet the ceiling, carpet the floor, carpet the walls. Would be all set. Yeah, it's amazing what some of this stuff does. You don't think about it too much. I mean, I've got sitting in front of me here, a $1,000 radio mic, and it sounds, still like I'm recording on the Sports Illustrated football phone. So
yeah. Well, it's just it's better than ambient noise. Let's put it that.
Well, not a whole lot, but it certainly is better. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're not talking audio today. We're talking Twitter. And for those of you who, Twitter obviously is the social media juggernaut. Well, I don't know if we can call it that anymore, because I think it's actually kind of losing a bit of its audience
shine.
It goes through phases up and down, but it's a very strong platform. Has about 250 million people on it, which it's funny because any other thing you talk about 250 million people being part of something, you'd be amazed. But when you think that Facebook and YouTube have well over 1 billion users, and it just seems like small time in comparison. But it is the next biggest second tier. I'm going to call it. It used to be first tier. I'm going to call it second tier, along with Instagram and Pinterest, LinkedIn, sites like that. It's right up there. But it is a very powerful platform, and the people that are on there, believe it or not, tend to be, from what they say, higher education and higher income, which I guess is why I'm not on it very much. I don't know, but maybe I should start being on there.
I don't have either.
That's right. So Twitter, Twitter is a great platform. It really is. It gets messages out very easily. A lot of big businesses use it to be able to get their message out, as well as to communicate with their clientele. And they do that through answering questions and responding to tweets and all that kind of direct message stuff. And it works pretty well for a lot of those companies. And of course, the news organizations are big on that. We kind of learned that when Michael Jackson died, because, up until then, when the Bill Clinton scandal came out, the Drudge Report became the big thing, because it it way outperformed the news programming. They were able to get information out there so quickly. Well, when Michael Jackson died and Twitter was able to break the news in literally seconds of him dying, and of course the news, had to wait till 5 o'clock or whatever, and radio has to wait till radio breaks, things like that. And Twitter became something where people said, okay, obviously this is the future of communication here, because it's so fast to get that out to the world that anybody can be a reporter at any time, and it can spread very, very quickly. And of course, with Twitter, you also have the options for video, which is what we want to talk about. And people don't think of Twitter as a video platform very often, but it actually does have its own built-in video system. Now, obviously, one thing you can do with Twitter is to share YouTube videos, something we do all the time. And that's a very effective use of Twitter. But Twitter does have actual built-in video that you can use. Now, much like Instagram, it has, and much like Twitter when you're typing in your text, it has its limitations. And in Twitter, you've got a couple of limitations that you have to deal with. One, your video cannot be a 20-minute masterpiece. Okay, so your video, I believe, has to be about 2.5 minutes long, and that's about it. And anything larger than that, they're just not going to let you do it. They will have, believe it or not, a little video editor in there, so you can actually trim your video down if that is a little bit longer than it needs to be. But the video does have to be fairly short because much like with the text, they just want you to keep it short and sweet. And I kind of wish they didn't do that, but unfortunately, and actually, I said 2.5 minutes. It's actually about 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
2 minutes 20 seconds.
2 minutes and 20 seconds is the limit for that, and not very long.
No.
And by the way, it also has to be a fairly small sized video. It can't be some 1 gigabyte megalith video. It has to be a well compressed video. It can be an MP4, but it has to be compressed. It has to be a small video file. It has to be under 2.5 minutes there at 2 minutes and 20 seconds in order to work. And fortunately, that is also about 2.5 times longer than Instagram videos are allowed to be. So you do have some pretty good options there in that in 2.5 minutes, most online videos, you can get your point across. Most online videos are probably ranging in the 2 to 2.5 minute range anyway. So that's actually pretty good. And obviously a lot of videos go to 3 minutes, but if you can keep it within 2 minutes and 20 seconds, you could have a very good platform for your videos. Now, here's the great thing. We talk about Instagram and video a lot. Obviously, the limitations with Instagram are that the video is 60 seconds long and that you don't have a link. With Twitter, you don't have that issue. You don't have that limitation. So you can actually put in, let's say you've got a video that's 20 minutes long. You could put in a shortened version of it, maybe a 2-minute video, and then the last 20 seconds could say, head over to our YouTube page to see the rest of this. And in the text, you can put the link to that YouTube video in there and people could click back over, or to your website so that people could click back over. So it's a great way to introduce people to a concept or to something that you're trying to share, and then send them as they watch that to another location to watch the video. And believe me, if you can get them hooked in those first 2 minutes, you can send them back to the main video, you're going to be golden. Anybody who's watching the video, if they're watching the video long enough, they're going to flip over because they're not going to watch a video that's not finished. If they were interested enough to watch 2 minutes of it, they're probably going to click to see the rest of it at that point.
There you
so
go.
It's a great way to tease them into getting to the main page for the full video. So highly recommend that you do that. But again, you do have to keep the file size small. You do have to keep the video at less than 2 minutes and 20 seconds. But because you do have the ability to put a link, it's a very effective tool for this. Now, of course, the other option with this is make sure that your content is under 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And in the case of, for instance, you may notice with one of the programs that we have is Instant Spokesperson, where we develop a whole bunch of spokesperson videos. If you go through that entire library, you'll notice that every single one of them is under a minute long. And that's specifically done because we want to make sure that you can put it on a place like Instagram. That, of course, means you can put it on a place like Twitter. So if you can keep your message nice and short, Twitter could be a very good way to reach out not only to a large audience, but a large audience that, as we said, tends to have more money, tends to be more highly educated. So it's a very good crowd of people to be able to target with your videos, but you just have to keep the file size small and the length not too long. So
yeah.
But there's something else, Steve. There's something else about Twitter video.
But wait, there's more. Tell us, Ray.
There's more. Twitter also has a live video platform. That's right. Now, many of you may say, well, yeah, they own Periscope. Well, they do own Periscope, and they actually have their own live streaming tools inside of Facebook, inside of Twitter itself. Now, it is powered by Periscope, but believe it or not, you do not have to have a Periscope account or use Periscope or visit Periscope in order to do this. It's actually a built-in technology inside of Twitter now, so all you have to do is go live, just like you would if you were on Periscope, but from directly inside of Twitter. This, of course, opens up a world of possibilities because we all know I'm a big fan of live video. So now you can actually go live right from there, deliver your message, make sure that you have a nice call to action. And because, unlike some of the other sites, you can actually put links in your comments or links into your Twitter posts and comments and whatnot. You now have an opportunity to click people through to whatever place you want them to go to. So the question is, how do you make sure that people see your videos if you put them up there? Obviously, if you've got, if you run out today, you create a Twitter account because you hear this and, oh, they've got video, we got to do this. You've got to do something to make people want to see it. Now, how do you do that? Fortunately, Twitter is a lot easier than many other locations to be able to get people to see your videos. Now, the first one is, of course, hashtags. Now, if you're not familiar with hashtags, come on, everyone is, but we're going to talk a little bit about them anyway. Hashtags are kind of like keywords that link people to certain phrases and ideas. So, for instance, during the Super Bowl, there might be a hashtag Super Bowl, and people will put that into their posts so that everybody that's looking at things related to the Super Bowl will see their comment. Oh, the Patriots just scored a touchdown. Now people can see that in that feed because you're using that hashtag. And hashtags can be extremely powerful. A lot of people just think, it's almost become a cliche or a joke, to hashtag this, hashtag that. But there is a very strong technical background to the hashtagging that can make a big difference. So if, let's say you're doing your video and your video is about getting car insurance, well, you could do some research and find what hashtags work. But for instance, let's say it's hashtag car insurance. If you put that in there, you might not have any followers on Twitter yet, but you put that hashtag car insurance and there's 10,000 people using that hashtag, they're going to see your video now. So you've got a way to tap into an audience, whereas on other platforms, that may be a little tougher to do. Facebook, for instance, a little bit tougher to be able to do that. Twitter, you can jump right in and you can actually put the hashtag and put yourself in front of other people. That's kind of a unique thing for that particular platform. And it's almost like having your own private, or not really private, but your own page for that type of content. Because essentially, if somebody goes to Twitter, clicks on that hashtag of car insurance, they're going to see all of the stuff related to car insurance, including yours, and you'll be able to get it up there. Now, the great thing about this is you can also target trends. And, Twitter keeps track of what's trending worldwide. During the Super Bowl, it'll tell you, number one hashtag trend right now is Super Bowl, hashtag Super Bowl. You could certainly post something in there to that entire crowd. I'm not saying to go spam Twitter. That's not what I'm trying to get at here. But the point being is that if you can get into something that's hot right now, you could get a message out to a lot of people. Now, the downside of that, of course, is you do hashtag Super Bowl, your tweet's going to be gone in a few seconds. It's going to disappear in the crowd. So there's kind of that balancing act there of you want something that people are going to find, but not something that's so hot that your tweet's just going to disappear in a few seconds. And then, the only people who saw it were the ones who were there right at that particular second that you put it up there. So you do have to play a little bit of a balancing act. But if you're in a particular niche, let's face it, not many things have that hot viral hashtag like a Super Bowl does. So if you're doing something with plumbing, there's a good chance that a lot of people are going to see your stuff, but it's going to kind of slowly move its way through and before it disappears. So you're going to be able to get in front of a good audience for a good amount of time. So it's a very effective method for doing that. But as I said, if you can find a good hot hashtag, post things using that hashtag, people will notice it. It can help you to build your Twitter following. It can help you to possibly get a product in front of somebody. It can help you to get a message across and make people watch your videos. So it's very, very effective for that. Now, you want to make sure, of course, that as you're doing this, you want content that people want to see. You don't want to put stuff in there that people are just going to, pass by and forget that. We don't care about that. And one thing that actually works fairly well on a platform like Twitter is a looping video, believe it or not. So if you've got a video that can loop, then you've got something that people will watch. It doesn't have to be 2.5 minutes long. It can be a shortened video. But if it loops almost like a GIF, then people will actually be able to, have some fun with that and see that. So that's a kind of a little trick that you can use to make sure that people kind of pay attention to it because it catches the eye. It's looping something that's interesting, and then it goes with the message that's along with that, and that can be a big, big help for you.
Yeah.
So, now, the other thing that you want to think about is most Twitter users are using the Twitter on their phone. They're not using it from their desktop. Obviously, some do. That's where I tend to do it most of the time. But the vast majority of the audience are doing it from their phone. So you want to make sure that any video content that you do is going to be friendly for mobile devices. And that way, the most amount of people can see it. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means, more close-up shots, things that are not going to be far away. So, the perfect example is, the old Facebook Live. Hey, I'm here on live, talking to your phone. Well, it's in your face. It makes, it's big. And on a smaller screen, even though phones are very large, it's still a very small screen. Having your stuff right in there is going to make a big difference. It's going to help to make sure that people can see what's actually going on and really make your videos stand out. Now, another thing to do is to build up your audience first. You want to make sure that you've got a good Twitter following, and then let them determine your content. Let them tell you, ask them, what would you like to learn about? And, let's say you're a plumber. What do you need to know about plumbing? Well, we need to know how to fix a stopped drain. Okay. Then you do a Twitter live feed or a Twitter video that answers those questions on how to deal with a stopped up drain. And you'll be able to get more people on there because they already told you that that's exactly what they want. So that's a very effective method for making sure that you get people to pay attention. Now, the other one is similar to what we talked about with hashtags, is tailor your content around what people are talking about right now. Now, hashtags will certainly tell you some of the things that they're talking about. But for instance, a good example is something we talked about earlier, the lottery. Or maybe it's the eclipse. Last week was the eclipse. So, actually, it was this week, wasn't it? It wasn't even last week.
That was Monday.
Boy,
Monday.
Still the same week. Whew, seems like it was ages ago now.
I know.
But the eclipse, so if you're doing a video and you're referencing the eclipse, if you're doing a video, you're referencing the Powerball jackpot, those are things people are thinking about, things people are talking about already. It's going to get you more visibility, even if you're using it to tie into something else. I made a joke on Facebook the other day, Steve. There was a writer for the magazine The Atlantic, and the person writing this article, they were a lawyer. They were trying to get a point across about racial inequality, and they used the eclipse as a way of basically comparing the eclipse to racial inequality. And it was very strange. It was very weird. It was almost comical. It was poorly done. But, people were going around. I was going around and others were going around and saying, oh, look, even the eclipse is racist these days. That's amazing. But, the point being is that's exactly what this person was doing. Not very effectively, but that's what they were doing. They were trying to take something that was in people's minds right then, the eclipse, and bringing it to some sort of a point they wanted to get across, in this case, about racial inequality. Like I said, if you look that up, it's kind of funny to see the thing. Basically, she's talking about how the eclipse is going to be passing through areas where there's only white people, and how unfair different things are, and it was very strange. But point being is, she got a lot of attention.
Oh yeah,
and she did it by referencing the eclipse. And by the way, I guess racial inequality right now is also a big thing that's been trending. So she kind of hit two trends in one there with that article, but it definitely helped her out. Now, the other thing that you can do to really build your audience is, of course, to make sure that you do things on a regular basis. This is the thing that I am the worst at, with the exception of maybe this radio show right here that you're listening to. I'm terrible at this. I have great ideas, and I say, every Friday I'm going to do a video on this, and that lasts about 3 weeks. And then I miss a Friday. And then I do it on the next time I do it on a Saturday because I missed it on the Friday again. And say, and it just falls apart very quickly. So you have to have that consistency. You have to be able to make the time to say every Wednesday at 7:00, I'm going to do a question and answer session live on Twitter. And that's going to help you to make sure that you get an audience, because they're going to be used to that. They're going to be waiting for it. And I see this all the time. I've got podcasts that I know, this podcast comes out on Friday. And if they miss a week, it's like, they didn't come out this week. I can't believe it. So you have to be consistent or you're going to anger your audience. Even if you don't think a lot of people are listening, the ones who are, they're going to be upset. So those are your favorite people. So you got to try and do that. Again, something I am not good at, but I definitely need to improve on that, and I'd like to do that. Maybe after I move, be able to settle down and get things to where I can do those kinds of things again and make sure.
I think it's going to be much easier for you to do that in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be much easier in Atlanta. Yes.
Yeah, you know what I saw the other day when I was on YouTube?
What is that?
Free Stuff Fridays.
Free Stuff Fridays. I actually did that one for quite a while.
I know.
And then the exact same thing I just talked about happened.
Yeah,
so.
That
was a fun one, and I should bring that one back. Now that
it was really cool.
It was different then because it was YouTube. But if just traditional YouTube videos. But if we did that consistently every Friday on Facebook Live or on Twitter Live, or on Periscope or whatever it happens to be, people will get used to it. People will enjoy seeing it, and we'll be able to have some fun with it. So it's definitely something. Believe it or not, that thing is always in my mind. I've got to start that up again. But like
it had some views. It had some views. Yeah,
it definitely. It still gets a lot of views. Believe it or not, after all this time, because it's about free items. Things you can get for free. So hopefully we'll be able to bring that one back in the near future, because I think that would be a lot of fun to do. So we'll see if we can do that. Another thing you want to be able to do is solve people's problems. We talked about doing a live question and answer thing in the past here, but if you can solve somebody's problem, they're going to pay attention. People watch videos when something is solved. How-to videos are huge. So for instance, if you're that plumber and you're showing people, hey, if you're having a problem with this is what you need to do. Oh, I can fix it. It's going to get you attention. It's going to get you views. Solving people's problems, that's what people want. They talk about inventors. When you invent a product, it needs to solve a problem in order to be massively successful. Now, that's not always the case, but traditionally, that's when people solve problems, that's when things blow up. The cotton gin, it solved a problem. Something that took weeks to do now took minutes. And, so it solved the problem and took off in the entire Industrial Revolution because of that one product saving all that time. So it's, anytime you can solve a problem with somebody, you're going to get more attention. That goes with whether you're creating a product or whether you're doing a video that's going to help people. Anytime you solve a problem, it's going to be a positive thing. It's going to make a big difference. So definitely that's something you want to do. Another thing you can do, and this is something that's interesting too, is make personalized videos. Why not create a little video thanking people? Hey, I just want to thank John for this, or Mary for this, or I want to thank all the new people for this. And it seems kind of silly, but it can make a big difference in that people feel like they're the ones being talked to. They're not just a number, and that's going to keep them coming back. And we've seen that, with this radio show and with some of the other things that we do, we get people that they get excited because we talk about them on the radio show, or we mention them, or we mention their comments. And I see that with a lot of different things. Many radio shows will read off, and we've done this. Actually, we started doing this and we stopped. We should probably do that again. Reading off people's reviews of the radio show and thanking them for it. Yeah. And that can be a big thing. And a lot of podcasts do that. They read off, John thinks this is a 5-star podcast, and thank you, John. So that's something that you can definitely do. It's something we should probably start implementing again. We haven't done that in a little while. But.
Yeah, I need to remember to remind you.
Yes, remember to remind me. So now the big thing you need to understand with all of this is, if you're doing Twitter, you gotta actually do it. And that's the same with everything. Nothing that we talk about will work unless you actually put in the work. And you need to have a plan. You need to think about what you're going to record, what you're going to put out there, what kind of lives you want to do, when you want to do them, why you want to do them, and then go out there and actually take the actions. Because, if you just write it down on a piece of paper and then you never do it, it's not going to make a whole heck of a lot of difference. So definitely something you want to put some time, put some effort into, and you could really make a big difference with this platform that we call Twitter. And with any platform, really. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't work if you don't do anything. You can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. But this is actually better odds.
Yeah, this is much better odds. Much better better odds of getting somebody to watch your video than
that's right.
Than there is winning the lottery. So
yeah. I think I might do a test where I take instant spokesperson video and put it out there with hashtag PI Lawyer Omaha and just see what happens,
Why not, right? I've done it with Instagram, the same type of thing.
How'd that work for you?
So, you know what? It goes back to the consistency thing.
Yeah.
Did it a couple times just to test it out, and then haven't done it enough since then. So definitely.
No,
but honestly, as much as people love Instagram, I think Twitter is even a better platform for that. Because you have the ability to put a link that people can click on, the videos can be longer. In the case of Instant Spokesperson, that part doesn't matter. But, you can definitely get a higher caliber of person on there when it comes to that kind of a thing. Because you know what? A lot of these PI lawyers are going to be on Twitter, maybe not Instagram so much. Instagram is a much younger crowd.
Good point.
More teens and early 20s crowd. But, Twitter, it definitely tends to be an older, more intellectual crowd. And so you can definitely do pretty good on there by jumping in.
My college-age daughter told me I was too old for Instagram.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's probably true. She
and that's all she's like, Facebook, that's so yesterday.
And, well, and believe it or not, they did announce the other day for the first time ever that Facebook actually lost people.
Really?
But only in that younger demographic. But it's the first time that any of their demographics have ever gone down. And it was in the younger crowd that it actually did go down recently. So,
well, and she said, Facebook is so yesterday. And then she said, okay, I'm being snarky. Here's what Facebook is good for. So she even recognizes it. I mean, that demographic, she's 20 years old. They're Instagram type people, and they're not using Facebook like they did, so anyhow.
Yeah,
just to frame it properly. So, is that? Did we got everything there?
I think we've got everything that we want to get on Twitter. I worried that this wouldn't be there wouldn't be enough in there to have a good long podcast about this, but actually,
half hour,
pretty good amount of content on there for it. So,
Mindset Matters.
Yes, indeed. Should we hit that little bumper?
Okay, yeah. Let's see if we get knocked off the air.
Mindset Matters.
It worked.
Mindset Matters. It did.
All right.
I told you I learned the secret. You did. Click it beforehand so that it loads into the buffer there.
That's right.
For whatever reason, that file doesn't like to do that. But anyway, regardless of that, today we want to talk on the Mindset Matters. We're going to go back to the world of podcasting because podcasting is such a wealth of knowledge and information completely free of charge that you can get anytime, and you can get it from a variety of people that have a lot of experience and know what they're talking about. And that being the case here, I want to recommend to you the Tim Ferriss podcast. Now, Tim Ferriss, you may know from the 4-Hour Work Week, a very good book that helps you to learn how to make the most of what you have and make yourself successful by, I was going to say by working only 4 hours a week, but really, the 4-Hour Work Week is the name. It's not necessarily a recommendation to actually do that. In fact, the funny thing about what Tim Ferriss has said about the 4-Hour Work Week is that title came from crowdsourcing. They wanted to see what title was most catchy, and that was the one that won. So that's what he went with. Now, he is talking about, cutting down your hours by making sure you work smart, have people that help you, et cetera, et cetera. The Tim Ferriss podcast is another great resource that can really help you to learn what other people are doing. Tim does a lot of great interviews, so I highly recommend you check it out. It's at all the major podcasting locations from I almost said iTunes,
Apple Podcasts,
all
the podcatchers. That's what they call it.
Podcatchers. Yes, all the podcatchers. But you can definitely check it out straight on Apple Podcasts. The Tim Ferriss Show, highly recommended. It will help you to make learn a few things from a few smart people, and that's what we all want to do is get smarter. So, with that brings us to the end of another episode of Video Marketing Madness.
Video Marketing Madness, the radio show about video, and today's show made possible by,
as almost always, made possible by freevideoeditor.co. Are you looking to start editing videos that you can put on places like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram? Well, then you need a video editing program, and we've got one that's completely free of charge. At freevideoeditor.co, you can download our editing program along with all the other great bonus materials that we have in there, and you can start editing like a pro as soon as today. But it all starts by heading on over to freevideoeditor.co and leave off the last M for. Do we have any M's down here today? Most.
No.
Most. So we'll leave off the last M for most.
Yeah. Yeah, those of you on the Facebook Live, we have a crawler underneath
That's
our
right.
pictures.
Yes. So they're wondering what we're pointing at. We actually have a CNN-style news crawler underneath. I was looking for a word that began with M, and that was there.
Yeah,
most.
That's cool.
So,
alrighty, rap version? Did you say
rap? I think we can do the rap version. Let's. Biggie, let's take it out of here.
Biggie.
Biggie. He's Ray, the video guy. Yeah, Ray, the video guy. His skill is where it's at. Even if he's a little fat, he's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need, you know. He stays sharp like a crease in his pants. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing super sick. He's Ray, the video guy, yeah. Ray, the video guy, yeah.